We can also talk about the trade the Mariners made yesterday when they added Dee Gordon, a second baseman for the Miami Marlins, who will now transition and play a little bit of center field. Gordon, a heck of an athlete, came up as a shortstop, moved over to second base, and now will patrol the outfield at Safeco Field out there in center field. He was the 2015 NL batting champion. He can steal you 60 bases in a season. He did get busted for PEDs in, I believe it was 2016. That might not be right, but he served an 80-game suspension. Just an interesting move because not a lot of people could have predicted Dee Gordon becoming a Mariner, first of all, and then moving out into center field. Should be interesting to see what happens. Got another caller calling into the station. You heard him once before already today. His name is Thomas. He's from off campus. Thomas, what's new? What do we want to talk about now?
Well, I guess let's talk about the other part of the Mariners deal, Dee Gordon. Obviously, top of the lineup guy. Led the MLB in steals last year. He's fast, he's speedy, he gets a lot of singles, he gets on base. Seems like a potent weapon for the offense, something that Dipoto has clearly made efforts to improve in his time as Mariners GM. What worries me is hey, let's put this pro athlete in a position he's never played before in the bigs. And I need you to talk me off the ledge on this one, since last year outfield seemed like a position of strength for the Mariners. Their defense improved in the outfield, and now we seem to be almost backsliding a little bit, investing in the offense and kind of going, hey, well, he's got wheels. He'll be a natural outfielder, even though he's never played the position before. What are your thoughts?
I think it happens all the time. Just it's not as high profile, maybe, if that makes sense. Like, Ryan Healy is going to be a Mariner this year. He spent most of last year playing third base for the Oakland Athletics. Well, he's not going to do that here. The third base is covered up by Kyle Seager. He's going to slide over and play first base, and that's really, not talked about nearly as much as this position change for Dee Gordon. I get that they're first base and third base are very similar positions. I understand that, but people have done it before. I mean, in recent memory, Ian Desmond with the Rangers went from being a shortstop to being a center fielder just because that's where he fit for that year with the Rangers. So I think that because of the type of athlete Dee Gordon is, this isn't part of what should worry you about the move that they made yesterday in acquiring Dee Gordon, if that makes sense.
Okay. I guess the other thing I'm sort of...
Well, okay, hold on. What is your objection to...
Well, I mean, this is, I don't know. It seems like you're spending a big chunk of money on this guy. Right. The Mariners, have 10 players for the big league club under payroll right now, with that, not including pre-arbitration, and they're already at last year's salary, and are already ahead of the Yankees, a traditional big spender. And it almost seems like giving up a position of importance to gain a little bit in an area where the Mariners have already been good. The Mariners' offense was significantly improved last year. Now it's almost like we're doubling down on that strength and instead taking away from an area where we'd also seen a little bit of growth.
So, I mean, the biggest name that the Mariners are going to give up in this trade is Nick Neidhart. I mean, a guy described having a low ceiling. I mean, he's a starting pitcher that touches 90 on the radar gun sometimes. That's the biggest thing you gave up, and you're going to pay Dee Gordon for he's going to be a Mariner until 2021 unless decided otherwise. I don't think it was a bad move. I don't think anything Dipoto does is a bad move. Well, I do, but you got to reword it in a sense that what is he blowing up, a third place team in the AL West?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What is there to lose by bringing in Dee Gordon, who is a 200 hit guy a year, just like Gene Segura was? If Segura could have stayed healthy, he would have had a much better year than he did last year. Obviously, you can say that about the entire Mariners squad, but moving him out to center field isn't a big deal. If you put those two guys in front of, even though they are aging, Robinson Cano can still swing the bat. Nelson Cruz hasn't shown any sign of falling off. Kyle Seager could have a much better year this year, and you got an offense that is going to get the job done. It should get the job done.
Well, I look forward to these Star Wars numbers that the offense is going to put up.
I mean, you could only hope.